Good morning, guys. My name is Michael R. Roser, and I am co-founder and chief coaching facilitator at my company, Strategic Life Coaching, LLC. Please join me for this video and others at my website, abundantlifeslc.com. Thank you again, guys, for the reaction to the video on honesty, and I got things that were pretty much all over the map, and one guy whom I love said, geez, Roser, you're getting really deep here, and you're giving me a headache, and for that I apologize. However, I do believe that getting to these core foundational things that are going on with us is extraordinarily important, again, for us to make this change that we've been discussing here over the past weeks and months. So specifically to finish up on this honesty, I don't think I clearly made the point yesterday of if I'm not being truthful with myself, and Plato says self-deception is the worst kind of deception. If I'm not being honest about those feelings and addressing them immediately, as uncomfortable as they are, when somebody gives us that unsolicited advice. And again, unsolicited advice, a wise man doesn't need it, and a foolish man won't take it. And we sometimes judge the message by the messenger and all of those things. And those actions start to work on us over a period of time. They can verify the fact that I'm living this facade and people can see through it. And that's very difficult. And so those actions then cause me to get angry, and they cause me to develop resentments. And so the idea of this and acknowledging those things up front can help us then filter, I guess, what parts of the message are accurate and what parts aren't. Because here's the problem as I see it, is actions that happen, physical, financial, emotional, or spiritual, if we're not dealing them, then it becomes a manifestation. And what that is an event, an action, or an object that clearly shows or embodies something, especially a theory or abstract idea. But the real problem, as the definition goes on, in my humble opinion, is it's also a symptom or a sign of an ailment. So the manifestation of anxiety over some upcoming exams that I have. Every college student knows that. And I know when I was in college preparing for finals, I had a lot of anxiety because I had put off doing the studies and everything and cramming at the end. And unfortunately for me, I have a brain that's able to take, that information and be able to regurgitate it onto an exam and get a very good grade on that exam. But the issue is not a lot of it stuck. So after a few months later and going on to other classes, what did I really learn? And okay, I don't use my economics class very often anymore, but the point for us here in trying to live an abundant life is if we're cramming for this, we're not really changing, and that stuff's not going to stick, and it's going to manifest itself later in other parts of our life, and we don't even realize it. At least I didn't. So what are we really talking about? Well, this action, and I was told several times, Michael, you better get your act together or I'm gone, in the case of my ex-wife and others, business partners and vendors, that had simply had enough. And you've got to address what's bothering you, whatever that is. Unsolicited advice, because I found I was harming other people. And so if I didn't deal with those at that moment, this action, because I knew inside of me that I wasn't operating at 100% for years. And so that I was an open wound walking around, and any advice unsolicited, or even when I asked people like my priest and my psychologist for help, because I wasn't in touch with these feelings, then this anxiety and depression and things manifested itself in everything that I did. So if I'm not honest about it, in my particular case, what happens? I develop anger, I have hurt feelings, I then built resentments. And a resentment is a dangerous thing, I think, for all of us, because what it is is you're reliving something that happened months, even years ago, as it just happened. You're reliving that and rekindling that as if it just happened. Well, why is that a problem? Well, because that can't allow us to move forward because we keep digging things up from the past. It's called being passive aggressive. And so when I don't honestly acknowledge something that's hurtful and I communicate that and set good boundaries for the people and judge that message as it comes, not the messenger, the message, then I'm in a healthier spot because I'm not going to allow these things then to build inside of me and then react to them later and go through all of that pain and all of that hurt over again as if it just happened. Because you see, guys, in this world that we live in, if I'm doing that and rekindling all those things, what possible chance do I have of living today in a happy and joyous and free state when I'm bringing up these things that haven't been resolved and I'm passively aggressive towards them? And so inevitably that conversation comes up, which we've all had if we're married or we've got a brother or a kid or something. And 2 years ago, 15 years ago, you did this to me and I, and so on and so forth. And it all gets dragged up, and every single argument is just a lifetime focus of all of the bad things that you did to me in my life, and then now I'm adding another one onto it. So I can't live abundantly. I can't live happily because I'm not letting anything go. And over a period of time, that is so damaging to us. It causes us to stay depressed. That's a manifestation of what we're carrying around, that anxiety. Now also, guys, please understand that anxiety and depression and post-traumatic syndrome, which I've been diagnosed with, those are actual medical conditions that I have to take medication for. And I don't know if I was always, anxious and depressed, or if the way I was living my life, caused that. I know that I turned to alcohol to relieve it, and it worked for a while until it didn't. Then my solution became the problem. Therefore, I got more anxious, I got more depressed, I got more passively aggressive, got more involved with fear. Again, fantasized experiences appearing real, and I couldn't shake that. Therefore, I couldn't bring anything good into each new day that God, as I understand God, has given me today, just for today. So moving along then, acknowledging and accepting where I find myself today and being truthful about my feelings, because at the end of the day, we're entitled to our feelings. And what I found in this journey is that accurately communicating my feelings to, for example, my fiance, has a tremendous benefit, both to me and to her. That's showing love. If I'm not being honest with her and her words and her message that are hurting me are causing me anxiety or depression, I feel like she's dumping on, I tell her that now. And vice versa. And that to me is ultimately what love is. I'm not withholding that and allowing it to build and then ruining, our next day or our next hour that we're going to be spending together. And so if we can get in touch with ourselves, again, through that assessment session at my company, then we can start to work on exactly the manifestation, the poor behavior, the poor thoughts, the poor actions that we're acting on because we're not being honest with our feelings and where we're at the beginning. So we got to look in the mirror and see who we actually are, not who we were 20 years ago or who we'd like to be. We have to look at ourselves as we exist now, and then we can make a beginning on improving that and changing that, and then living the way that we want to live just for today. I hope that helps. Thank you for all of the texts and guys, it's great. I love this. And don't forget about the weigh-in on Monday. So keep that plan going, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.